Hey guys, Dr. Arnika here, and today we're going to talk about the perfect posture and how to achieve that throughout your everyday life. Something that I hear a lot of clients telling me is that they know that they sit horribly. They know their posture is bad. It's been bad all their life. My question to you is, what are you going to do to change it? And in this live, we're going to talk about some things that you can do that's going to help you throughout those 8+ hours that you don't have a choice but to sit at a desk. We are beyond entering into and accepting more of technology in our lives. And this is where we're going to learn how to coexist with it and what's best for our body. So you've probably heard about the ideal posture, right? If you're sitting at a desk with your feet flat on the floor, hips at 90, knee at 90, we're sitting up straight, shoulders down and back. Our wrists are trying to be straight with our elbows, and our screen is either directly at our gaze or above it. Now that is a great position to sit in, but there isn't one position that you can sit in for 8 hours is going to not give you some type of tension in your body, not give you any type of pain or aches that you feel when you're rubbing that neck. Our body craves movement, and the only way for us to be okay with our body to accept the fact that we're going to be sitting at this desk working on the computer for the next 8 hours is to give it some periodically. I'm really big on setting hourly timers just to get up and move. And here later on, I'm going to tell you a couple of movements that I get up and move about every hour when I'm having to do computer work. So let's get back to the ideal posture. So you heard about this, and I'm going to add more things to that. So sitting in that position for X amount of time is okay. But after 30 minutes to an hour, it's time to move. One of my next positions that I tell clients to do, if your desk is as high as it is and you feel like you can sit there comfortably, is to be in a half kneeling position. Who says that you have to use a freaking chair all the time? So coming down into that half kneeling position, where in here, my pelvis is tucked, my back is straight, and I'm also working on my computer this way. So sometimes if I'm doing an admin day, I will switch positions and be sitting like this. This is another position that maybe you sit in for 30 to that 60 minutes. This is the first way that hour later, we're moving positions. So another position is this half kneeling stance. Next, I know it's all the jam about standing desks, right? I'm for them. I like them. I'm down. However, how are you standing at that desk? Because if you have a standing desk that's not to your level and we're still looking down because our laptop or our desk screen, our computer screen is down here, I'm still looking down like this. Now you tell me how that's going to affect our posture. The biggest concern that I have with people is this forward head posture that we're now developing and putting that neck into more flexion, which is causing the pains down your neck, the possible disc problems, the shoulder knots. So for those who have a standing desk, make sure that the same rules apply from when you're sitting. That screen needs to be at your gaze. So you can have that standing desk, but is that computer up to your eyes? Because if not, then we're literally in the same position we were when we were sitting, with that neck sitting down, the upper back hunched over, and we're no longer hitting the ideal posture, right? Bet. So those are some examples of how we can switch it up from sitting to being in a half kneeling position, and then also being into a standing position with the correct equipment. So first things first is try to change your immediate environment. And if you don't want to move, if you don't want to get up and stretch, if you're feeling like you just don't want to do that, or you don't have time to be away from your desk, which we already talked about in a post earlier this week. These are two ways that you can just switch up your immediate environment by changing how you are sitting at your desk. Next. So I'm going to show you these next movements, which are going to help us in those timers that we have. About 3 to 5 movements that you can use when you are taking that break and moving from your work. One of the biggest things we find is that our neck stiffens up, right? It tends to bother us. And we all want to stretch it, right? We want to stretch our traps. I'm down with that, but we need to add more things to that. This muscle in the front of our body, front of our neck, is called our SCM. It's one of the biggest muscles that gets tense when we're under stress sitting at that desk. And the more forward we bring our head, the more shortened that muscle is. So this first movement is going to show you how we can start to stretch that muscle out. What you're going to do, sorry if you hear the rustling of the mic, what you're going to do is you're going to find that muscle that attaches right there to your collarbone, aka your clavicle. You're going to hold that down Put your head in that position and then pull up and away. This is a good like SAM lengthening. So do about 5 of those to each side. Next, after we stretched out that muscle that's giving us so much tension, that same muscle is also an accessory muscle when it comes to breathing. If we're not breathing from our diaphragm, we're breathing from here. And this muscle, that SCM that we just lengthened, is a part of that group of muscles that helps us do this. So next thing is going to be breathing. I know people don't like breath work, but you have no idea how important it is. It's one of the few things that we tend to forget as we grow up. The first thing we did as a baby is we breathed from our diaphragm. And along the way, with all the tension, all the stress throughout our everyday life, we move from here to here. So breath work is the next movement. Something as simple as sitting at your desk, placing one hand on your diaphragm and the other one on your chest, and taking 5 diaphragmatic breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. This is the best way that you can not only get these muscles, specifically these neck muscles or SCMs, relaxing, but also it modulates how you're feeling. It switches us from like the sympathetic tension, stress, a bear is chasing us, to like a more calm, chill, rest and digest, parasympathetic. And you realize how much more productive you feel after we can do something as simple as breath work. So one hand on your diaphragm, one hand on your chest. Through your nose, you're gonna take 5 diaphragmatic breaths. We should feel our diaphragm moving more than our chest. Next thing, we are going to do a pec stretch. If you've been sitting all day with that hunch back, then these muscles in the front are winning that tug of war. I describe it as a tug of war when I talk to my clients, because as we're sitting like this all day, these pecs, a little bit of our lat, they're all winning this tug of war. And these muscles up here are constantly being stretched. And I know you feel like they're hella tight, and I know you feel like you need to stretch them. But it's because they've been in this stretched out pattern for so freaking long with our neck out here and our hunch back here. The muscles are fucking tired. They're tired of being stretched, and eventually they're like, hey, I need you to come back. My job is to hold up your neck, but I can't do that if it's so far in front of your body. So we're gonna open up by stretching out those pecs. So I want you to grab a wall. The leg that is closer to the wall is gonna be the one that's out in front. We're gonna place our arm against the wall, move as close as we can. You can either look straight or you can turn away. We should start to feel a stretching in that pec. It should not be painful, maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but we're gonna feel that stretch, and you can hold that there for 15 to 20 seconds and do it to both arms. That's one way we can open up the pecs that have been sitting down here. Next, our upper back, our thoracic spine. I feel like no one likes to play around with this. We spend so much time stretching our neck and getting these traps, when reality is we need to move our upper back. So this next one is going to help us create some rotation, some movement in our upper back, better known as our thoracic spine. Grab your wall, same setup, so that leg that's closest to the wall is the one out in front. We're actually going to start our hand out in front, and we're going to sweep it along the wall. In this position, we're moving and getting our thoracic spine and chest at the same time, pec opening up. I would do 5 of these to each side and then relax. Not only do we throw that pec in there, but we also get more mobility in that upper back, which is something that if we're sitting all day, that tends to be flexed just like our neck. Last thing we're gonna go over is something that you can specifically do for your neck. I know your neck feels hella tight, and we always wanna stretch it. We wanna dig in, we wanna do all these things. But your neck is tight because it's trying to keep you safe. Our neck is meant to be stable. And with these muscles in the front, if our neck is constantly stretched out in front of our head, they're shortened, they're compressed, they're not working. So here, I want to show you one way that we can help engage those deep neck flexors that we talk about to help stabilize and give our upper back muscles some break. So in this position, we're going to do what's called a double chin, all right? So we're going to be going back this way, not down. I like to use my 2 fingers as kind of a feedback. I'm always down for giving some type of external cue, so you make sure that you're feeling it where you're supposed to feel. So we're going to be here, tucking your chin back. We're going to be in this double chin position. Hold it for 5 seconds and then relax. Again, and then relax. Do about 5 of those. And then if you want to be fancy, add in some extension, because if we've been sitting here in this position for X amount of time, only makes sense to go the opposite way, right? But we want to do that while we're double chinning. So to be a little fancy, we would double chin and then look up. Double chin and then look up. Give me 5 of those. So we've gone over positions and ways that you can either be half kneeling, sitting, or standing at your desk throughout those 8 hours. We're talking about how you're gonna put timers, hourly timers throughout your day, so you can know that, hey, I've been sitting in the same position for X amount of time. Either I need to A, change positions, B, get up and move, or C, all of the above. I'm always gonna go with C, but you get what you can, right? And then we also talked about some movements that you can do when you do set those hourly timers. Things that make sure we're hitting the main muscle groups. So we can do some diaphragmatic breathing. We talked about stretching out the SCM. We also talked about that pec stretch on the wall, getting some thoracic rotation in. And then that last but not least, we did a lot of the double chinning with extension. Those are some great things that's going to help you find what we call that perfect posture. But reality is that perfect posture doesn't exist. You need to move. Your body needs to be dynamic throughout the day. If you are desk bound, I get that you're at a computer for 8 hours, but you have to get up and decide to make a change in order to see those differences in your body. Or 20 years from now, you're going to be hitting me up like, Arnika, my neck hurt, my upper back hurt. I don't know what happened. I'm going to be like, remember that video that I did? I talked about that posture, but you've been sitting for 8 hours and you don't move. That's going to be my response. Of course, I'm going to help, but I'm definitely going to talk smack. I want all of us to be aware of our body, to know how to use it and the things that we can do from the comfort of our own home. If we have to spend that much time in front of a computer, make sure that we can nourish our body with movement. Let me see if there are any questions in here. I hope that you found today's live very valuable. I'm super passionate about just teaching people about their bodies and let you know that there's no perfect posture. I know that we have specific curves in our spine that we are definitely structurally supposed to, but there's only so much we can do. And I want you to know that moving periodically throughout the day can that be perfect posture? Can I just deem that as a definition? Because we can't sit, we can't stand, we can't half kneel for the same posture for 8 hours. It doesn't like it. Awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's live. If you want to know more things that you can do at your desk, I have a desk ebook specifically to help with desk mobility that I will, you can click the link in the bio to find that, all right? If you want to get some more tips, some updates, we send out bi-weekly emails. So you can also click the link in the bio and sign up for our newsletter. Next week, are we going live as well? And we'll be talking about something different. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a good rest of your day.